are the top stories. Independence activities for September 8th to 13th announced. Plane crash search off. Rear outbreak in Japan. Good afternoon and welcome to ZIZ's Midday Newscast for Monday, September 8th, 2014. I am JD Keynes. St. Kitts and Nevis shocked Guyana's Golden Jaguars on Sunday night with a 2-0 victory to win Group 6 of the 2014 CFU Caribbean Cup. After a slow start to the tournament, the national senior men's football squad stormed back to win its next 2 matches to qualify for the second round of the CFU Caribbean Cup. Following a 5-0 victory over Dominica on Friday, the national team added 2 more goals against Guyana on Sunday, all while not conceding a single goal. The game started with both teams making great defensive stands, denying each other several scoring opportunities. However, St. Kitts and Nevis' offense came alive in the second half of play. Shortly after play resumed, overseas-based player Zephaniah Thomas scored the game's first goal in the 55th minute. 5 minutes later, team captain Atiba Harris added the second goal and the second and final goal of the game to safely guide the national team home to victory and to the second round. Both St. Kitts Nevis and St. Lucia ended the tournament with 2 wins and 7 points. However, the Sugar Boys won the group with a 4-point goal difference. In the first game of the night, St. Lucia defeated Dominica in a 2-1 encounter. Cliff Valsin struck twice for St. Lucia in the 12th and 71st minute, while the lone goal for Dominica came in the 68th minute, compliments Julian Wade. St. Kitts and Nevis now joins Haiti, Barbados, and French Guyana in Group 8 in the second round. Those matches will be played from October 6th to 13th in Haiti. St. Kitts and Nevis' month-long celebration of independence continues this week. Today, Monday, the nation's Governor-General Sir Edmund Lawrence and members of the federal cabinet are expected to deliver their independence addresses. On Tuesday, the country's government ministers will commence their 3-day visit to schools, and the Taiwanese Cultural Group will host a presentation at 4 p.m. Wednesday, September 10th, will see the long-awaited Prime Minister's Lecture Series with Honorable Justice Selwyn Walters as guest speaker. At 7 p.m. on Friday 12th, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Drum Corps will host a presentation, and at 7:30, hundreds will gather at the Old Treasury Building for Gala Night of Independence. On Saturday 13th, St. Kitts Nevis will join other Caribbean nations in celebrating Caribbean Wellness Day. The day will feature a health walk at 5:30 a.m., tree planting exercises, visit to the Joseph and France General Hospital, a national blood drive at Independence Square, and a wellness lecture at the Marriott Resort. Independence 31 is being celebrated under the theme, A Nation on the Move, Celebrating Our Progress. Organizers of the Caribbean Premier League, CPL, have announced that the Warner Park grounds were adjudged best pitch and best outfield in the 2014 CPL series. This information was disclosed by the Federation's Minister of Sport, the Honorable Glenn Phillip, who also disclosed that plans are progressing smoothly for St. Kitts Nevis participate in the 2015 CPL games. Minister Phillip said the news about Warner Park further proves that the facilities compare favorably with Sabina Park, the Kensington Oval, and Queen's Park, Savannah. The sports minister also reported that CPL's international media partners confirmed that the games played in Bastia were broadcast to 222 million homes around the world. Now to news on the regional scene. Yesterday, the Jamaica Defense Force, JDF, suspended its search and recovery operation for the missing passengers of the Dehe Sokata TBM 900 light business and utility aircraft, which crashed in the waters 24 nautical miles north of Portland on Friday. The U.S. Coast Guard, which was assisting the JDF, had earlier ended its participation in the search. The JCF's ground commander, Senior Superintendent Terrence Bent, said at a press conference on Saturday that the police had made contact with the fishing community operating in Portland and the neighboring parish of St. Mary and briefed several of them about the search. They were urged to pay full attention and report any debris they found during their routine. Head of the Bahamas Union of Teachers is calling on education officials to stop waiting until the last minute to plan for the new academic school term. Ludon Davis has the details.
According to Teachers Union President Belinda Wilson, the Ministry of Education's alleged inability to complete its teachers' vetting process is an eye-opener. To avoid this problem, Wilson recommends that the ministry take extra steps to complete its vetting process months in advance.
We have Uriah McPhee, Cleveland Enes, C.H. Reyes, Meg Warner. We have Columbus Primary, North Andrews High School, Bimini, that's Louise McDonald Primary School, Yellow Elder. They're still waiting for teachers.
Moreover, Wilson says she is only aware of one teacher recently resigning from the public school system and not a large number of teachers as previously announced by educational officials. She believes the resignation story is an excuse to cover up the ministry's failure to address a teacher shortage that she claims has been lingering for many years.
I'll say if they're making provisions for, let's say, approximately 150 teachers, then there has to be a provision made for an additional 20. I think there's at least 90% of the new teachers who are coming from the College of the Bahamas. And they must have communicated with the College of Bahamas prior to now. So I would think December of last year would have been ample time for them to communicate with the College of the Bahamas and be able to get from them a list of their prospective graduates.
The BUT president believes education officials should start a recruitment exercise within the high school system by closely monitoring students who perform exceptionally well in core subject areas and attempt to convince those students to pursue a teaching career.
And then you would be able to offer them full scholarships to the College of the Bahamas, and when there's subjects that the College of the Bahamas or degrees that the College of the Bahamas is not offering, then you give them the full scholarships to go to universities and colleges.
An escaped prisoner in Dominica who managed to elude the police for close to 4 years has now been captured by lawmen. The police have confirmed that Stephen Alphonse was caught in Rosalie on Saturday. The criminal escaped on January 27, 2010, when prisoners were engaged in extracting coal from a coal pit with time off for lunch. Prison officials noticed that Alphonse was missing when there was a change of shift and a head count was conducted. He was serving a 40-year sentence for the brutal murder of a young woman. He was, however, initially sentenced to death in 1993, but appealed the case in 2007. The sentence was commuted to 40 years. In a previous escape, Alphonse made his way to Guadeloupe, where he stayed for some time before he was deported to Dominica. Internationally, Japan's health minister urged the public not to panic after a popular park in central Tokyo was closed because of a rare outbreak of dengue fever. The Ministry of Health said that 70 people had been infected with the dengue virus in the past week in what it called the first outbreak in Japan since 1945. We hear more in this report.
Normally this time of year, this public space in central Tokyo is full of people. Right now, it's deserted as Japan tackles its first reported domestic outbreak of dengue fever since the end of World War II, 1945, almost 70 years ago. You can see Yoyogi Park in the center of the city, normally full of people, closed off right now. All of the dozens of victims came here to this park, and all of them were bitten by mosquitoes, which is why you now see signs up all over the place warning people to take precautions. Wear long sleeves, long pants, don't show your skin. And definitely use a lot of this, bug spray. This is a hot seller all over Tokyo right now. People are doing whatever they can to avoid getting bitten by dengue-infected mosquitoes. Symptoms usually show up within a week. You can get a severe fever, headaches, body aches. Most of the time the symptoms are mild and people recover. Nobody has been killed here in Japan because of this outbreak, but there are cases when dengue can be deadly, and the weather conditions are not helping the situation. It's been a hot, humid summer, perfect weather for mosquitoes to grow and thrive and spread this disease, which is why Japan has been out spraying for mosquitoes, trying to control this outbreak before it gets any worse. Will Ripley, CNN, Tokyo.
Large explosions have been heard in the rebel-held city Donetsk, while raising fears that a ceasefire signed 2 days ago is on the verge of collapsing. Blasts near the Donetsk airport were powerful enough to be heard in downtown as shelling continued through the day in Mariupol. Al Jazeera's Paul Brennan reports from Donetsk.
We were going to pick up our stuff. I have a baby and we temporarily live in a dormitory. We wanted to get the pushchair, warm clothes for the child. Then I got a call from my mother who said that our house was burning.
Each side blames the other for provoking the ceasefire violations. On this occasion, it seems the separatists fired first.
They were standing here with the cannon, so the Ukrainian army aimed at them and started to shoot. They were standing right here. They shot there and got the response.
The responses went back and forth all day Sunday. To the east of here, to the east of the airport, we've heard persistent small arms fire and the occasional burst from a machine gun. And over there to the northwest, we've heard the explosions from rocket fire, probably a Grad system. This is a ceasefire in paper form only. Fanning out from Mariupol's eastern checkpoint on Sunday morning, tanks were taking up defensive positions right on the city limits. They're braced to defend against more of this, Saturday night's sustained pounding of the city limits by separatist forces, unquestionably a violation of the Minsk agreement. Nonetheless, in Kiev, the government insists the ceasefire is still in force.
The firing and shelling is a violation of ceasefire conditions. The situation is under control now. Over the last 24 hours, we didn't have any information about civilian casualties, and at the moment we're not talking about a cancellation of the ceasefire agreement.
For residents of Mariupol inspecting the overnight damage, faith in the truce is understandably low.
It's terrifying, not just for the people here, but for the whole city.
A few minutes later, something in the distance had these soldiers pushing people back from the checkpoint. Officials from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, the OSCE, are charged with monitoring this ceasefire, a reminder, if needed, of the magnitude of that task. And a reminder for everyone in this bitterly contested country that this conflict isn't over yet.
And now the weather. Today you can expect some sun with a shower or two as temperatures reach a high of 31 degrees and a low of 26 degrees. Similar weather patterns are expected throughout this week, so it looks like it's going to be another great week for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And that's how we end today's Midday News presentation. I have been your presenter, JD Keynes. Do join us at 6:30 p.m. when we present our major radio news package and 7 p.m. when we present the TV news presentation. Have a great day.